Bakari, Godrich Gadi got a tender of 2 million in Polokwane. Bailo Muncha, his face, the face of his wife, the face of his mother and grandchildren. We will know everything about a stolen tender of 2 million because he's a black person. But these ones who have manipulated the rand and stole trillions and trillions, they've got no faces. Banor banks have manipulated the rand. But who is behind those banks? What are the faces of these people? Where do they stay? They don't tell us because it's white people. It's white people who manipulated the rand. And therefore white people can do anything they want to do and get away with it.
I have always wondered whether or not the black South Africans benefited when apartheid ended. I have always wondered. I mean, they got the political arm of the government, that is for sure. But I have always wondered if they also got something from the financial system or the economic sector of the country. Because to the best of my knowledge as an African, I would like to think that black South Africans are still as broke, if not broker, than they were when apartheid was in place. I stand corrected. I might be wrong. I stand corrected. The reason I'm saying all this is when you watch videos coming out from South Africa and when you see where black South Africans live compared to where white South Africans live, you can see a big disparity between these two locations. Most black South Africans live in ghetto and slums, while the white South Africans live in the mega cities, live in high-rise buildings. Most of the economy in South Africa is still controlled by the white South Africans. I think I said this in a previous video that Nelson Mandela took over the political control of the country from the whites, from the apartheid regime. But I am still struggling to come to terms if he did so with the economic system. I'm still struggling to come to terms with that. I am still struggling to understand if there was this wealth redistribution in the country. Because remember, generational wealth is something that is very important. The whites were in control of every single thing in the country. They claim every single thing for themselves. And we can imagine how much money that put into their pockets. You can imagine how much money they made from all the mining in South Africa. And if they were just left to keep all what they've got, in terms, I mean, like the businesses, the companies, the money, and everything, how do you think that favors the black South Africans? So I want us to watch this video where one of my most favorite person, Julius Malema, is educating the people on what exactly is going on in South Africa and why black South Africans are as broke as they are. And if care is not taken, they will get even more broker than they are now. So this is a very, very dire situation, and attention must be given to it. Let's watch.
Whites have become more rich in South Africa than they were during apartheid. lekgowa le lengwe la re le dia joke le nna la re wa tseba ge nke be re tsebile gore ntho is going to work like this, would have given it to you guys in 1976 so that children don't die. What do you mean? I don't know, we're making more money now than we were making money at that time. This democracy of 30 years has benefited the oppressor more than the oppressed. And it's not me. The numbers are there for you to see. Stats is there for you to see. The economy is not growing and creating jobs. Why? The white people are the ones who have money. They've kept their money in the bank. They are not releasing it. They are not reinvesting it in South Africa. That's why this economy will never grow. That's why there will not be jobs. Because for jobs to be there, the money that is in the bank, a lot of it, must come out to come and build factories so that we get jobs. They are not interested because they don't trust this black government. Leave the fact that the ANC is corrupt. They don't trust black people. That's why they must keep their money in cash. So that if you turn against them, they just press transfer and then they are out of this country. They can't carry a factory. That's why they can't invest in factories. They have no confidence in our government. Hanibiale banka di manipulator renta. As a result of the manipulation of the rent, a lot of our brothers and sisters who were climbing the ladder into the middle class have lost their houses, have lost their cars, have lost every little thing they got through loans because of the manipulation of the rent. Mara batho ba utswangi chelete through manipulation of the rent aba tshwariwi ebile a re ba tsebe.
So my people, it's quite a funny thing to see, but it's true. It's the honest truth, right? I would suggest that, or I would like to say that, and this is just my own personal opinion, okay? You guys don't have to take it seriously. The reason why Nelson Mandela was viewed as quote-unquote the hero by the West, and Robert Mugabe was viewed as a dictator, isn't just because Nelson Mandela served, I think, one term and then hand over power to the next person. I think that was Thabo Mbeki, if I'm not mistaken. That's not just it. I think the reason why he was, quote-unquote, embraced by the West and loved by the West after what they did to him was because he never touched the economic sector of the country. He never mentioned about wealth redistribution. He never did what Robert Mugabe did in Zimbabwe, where he took over lands that were, quote-unquote, belonging to the white farmers and gave them to local Zimbabweans. Nelson Mandela never did that. And I strongly believe, or I am with this opinion, that that was the reason why the West openly embraced him and said to him, you know something? We love you. We are sorry we did that to you. We are sorry we locked you up for 27 years. We are sorry that we committed a lot of atrocities against your own people. We are so sorry, but let's bygone be bygone. Let's just move on. Let's just forget about every single thing that happened and let's just come back to being friends. That's what they told him. And he was like, well, what can we do? What has happened, right? So let's move on. Let's move the country forward. Yeah. So he did not touch the economic or financial sector of the country. Had he had done that, had he had said that, maybe you, the white South Africans, have too much money. You, the white South Africans, have too much economic power. And remember, he who has the money calls the shots. Maybe we will do something like wealth redistribution. We will make sure that all the wealth that you guys have gathered throughout the years can be redistributed to every single person in the country. And let's make sure that everyone is being taken care of. I think if he had done that, it was just a matter of time before he was thrown back to prison, or he was labeled a tyrann, an authoritarian, or a dictator. It was just a matter of time. So he knew not to touch that sector, which I think that it's understandable, but it did not benefit the Black South Africans. The wealth gap between the white South Africans and the Black South Africans is too wide. It's too wide. The blacks did not benefit anything from it. But you guys out there, when you hear Julius Malema talk about the issues going on in South Africa, what is your take on it? Do you think that if Nelson Mandela had tried to implement the same policies that Robert Mugabe did in Zimbabwe, he would have come under the hammer from the West? The West would have branded him as a tyrann? Share that thoughts with us in the comment section below, because I always really love hearing what you have to say. And also, do not forget to like this video, leave us a comment below, follow this channel, because that helps us a lot and we shall forever be grateful to you. So thank you very much for doing just that. And like always,